Hi, this is the second challenge problem we are going to solve in picoCTF2019. It's the inspector for 50 points. Thousands have already solved it, and it's our first web exploitation. And it states here, someone tipped us off that the following code may need inspection. And they're giving you a URL here which you could probably put into the shell, but it's also giving you a link. The hints tell us how do you inspect web code on a browser, and that there are three parts. So let's open the link and see what happens. You can't see it, but it's called My First Website, and it has a cute smiley at the end. What we're looking at is a web page. It's not exactly the New York Times, but it is what it is. And you can click on it. You can click on the white here. Nothing really happens. The black part with inspect me. Nothing. What? Well, it actually says here, right? I made a website. And the how. I used these to make this site. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Now, HTML, or most web pages, are made by using HTML, and you use it to create the actual content. CSS here is for the design or style, and JavaScript, which can make the web page, or let's say website, more interactive. So if you're going to do web exploitation, you need to know a little bit about what you're looking at. But for now, let's go to the inspect me and right click, and you see here we have on inspect element. So let's click on that. This is where you end up. When you're looking at a web page, you are looking at the front end of it. This is kind of like the back end. If you ever get interested in web exploitation, this is where you will spend a lot of your time. I'm not going to go into the details here, but this is how HTML looks. You have the HTML tag here, and the title that we looked at earlier, inspect me, is here. There are many ways to solve this, and it might look different. That is the tabs and whatnot in different browsers depending on which one you use. I stick with Firefox, but you don't have to do that. I think the point here on these very easy problems is just click around and Google things that you think are important. If you get serious about it, Coursera has some very good courses on HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and HTML and JavaScript are needed. And let's just click around a little bit here. We are now on the inspector, right? Let's click on console. Nothing. Debugger. And here you have my JavaScript. And you can see right here that this is part of the solution here. The last part 3 of 3, and network, and you can see my CSS. Double click that and you have another solution. So that's one way to do it, but right now let's do the HTML part and see where it leads us. First of all, we have arrows here which doesn't really show anything, so if we click on them we can see something else here. And what's interesting here is we have an external page here called my CSS, which could be interesting for part of the flag. And we also have my JS or my JavaScript. I'm guessing my is the author here, right? And let's click a little further down here. Nothing. And one more time. And yes. Okay, so here we have the first part of the flag. When you see something like tac tac and what's in front of it, that's the beginning of an HTML comment. And the same thing here, tac tac arrow is the end of a comment. Comments are good on the back end and it doesn't affect the front end. So it's a good kind of like way to show clues. But what we want here is picoCTF and the parentheses true and D3, right? So that you need to copy. Out of pure curiosity here, if we didn't see this nor this, and we went up here to search HTML and we just wrote in Pico, it's gonna open. So that's also a way to do it. But right now we know that the CSS was in network here, right? If we click on my CSS here, I think you're gonna have to push down on the control button at the same time. We're gonna get that document. Here we have that document. As you can see, HTML and CSS look a little bit different. And we have the second part of our flag or solution here. And you can also note that HTML and CSS have different ways to comment out things, in our case clues. But what we want here is this part of the flag. We're just gonna copy, and we already copied another part here, and let's paste it to that part. So now we have the first and the second part of this flag. We're back in the inspector, and we know we had JavaScript, I think, in the debugger. Here it is. And we're gonna do it this way. My JavaScript, right? Push down on the control key and click. And here we have it. Same thing really. It's the third part. And we're gonna copy this part here all the way to the parentheses. We're gonna copy source text, and let's find our notepad, and we're gonna paste it in here, and that should be it, right? True detective or just lucky. The question is if these numbers and or digits and letters should be part of the flag, but it's inside the parentheses here, so we're going to guess that it belongs. Copy the whole string, copy, and let's get back to our original page here. We are going to put our flag in here, paste, and submit. And that was correct. We got 50 more points. And that's it for this time.